My in-laws won't drive 2 hours round trip every day for my kids. I saw this gem over on Slate's advice columns and had to share the lunacy. Join me in laughing at the absurdity. My husband and I have 2 children under 4 years old. We live in a city where childcare is difficult to find and expensive. Most of my salary goes towards daycare. My in-laws live an hour away. They're both retired and refuse to help out. Their grandchildren rank about 5th on their priorities behind their dogs, volunteer work and weekly card games. Just having them pick up our son from preschool every day would be a lifesaver. Traffic is horrible and the school has a $20 fine for every 15 minutes you are late. I begged my husband to get his parents on board, but the conversation was fruitless. He asked his father and got told while they would be available in an emergency, we need to figure out our own lives. We choose to live in the city instead of down the street and they aren't going to drive every day. I find their selfishness appalling and I find it hard now to make small talk about trivialities like their garden or their church charity. Is there anything I can do here? I've lost all drive to make sure my children interact with their grandparents. Why bother if they won't? My husband says the situation will get better when the kids get older. I am just so tired. The crazy lady came back. Big mistake. OP is me, EM is entitled mother. Okay, ever since that day, I finally reassembled my old M4 airsoft gun, which took me multiple tutorials and hours to refix. Now that it was ready, I tested it out on my garage. I made a target and used it. Pierced through like it should. Then all of a sudden, someone was banging on the gate and I saw her face. Then I immediately screamed, "If you bang that one more time, I'm going to shoot your hand with this airsoft, to give it something you won't want to have." Then she peeked through the gaps of the walls and she saw me holding the M4 and she ran. As in she flash ran. 10 seconds after running, the dad came and saw me with the airsoft and asked, "Were you threatening my wife to kill her with that?" "No sir, I was merely warning her to not keep banging or she would get a warning shot that won't harm her in any way." "Oh, but why does an underage teen have a gun?" "Oh, it's an old airsoft gun I fixed up and now tested it. I can show you what the ammo is to prove it." Then I showed him what's in the cartridge and then he understood that it was a misunderstanding, so he apologised and left. And I got news from one of the neighbours that she was put on house arrest for doing the same shit with another kid in the neighbourhood. So now I can finally say that she's gone, I think. Entitled mother gets mad when I yell at her disabled son for feeling me up. So this happened when I was maybe 11. Back when laser tag was all the rage, I was invited to a birthday party of a cousin of my best friend, a little boy named Raoul. Raoul and me, and some other kids, noticed another strange kid trying to play with us. We'll call him DM. He told us he was actually 20 and it was clear he was disabled. And though he kind of seemed like a kid in size and mannerisms, he was not. Anyway, DM starts following us and trying to play with us, but obviously something seems a little off about it. Basically, he starts trying to fill me up. He starts with nonchalantly touching my shoulders, then my hips and closer to my chest. I tell him to leave me alone and my group of friends basically all tell him to go away. Well, Entitled Mother comes roaring in, along with Entitled Dad, to berate me on what a horrible bully it was for not allowing her son to play with us because he was disabled. Entitled Mum got my mum, who took me from the party, as I burst into tears. While back at my mum's friend's place, the adults got ready to talk me down for picking on a disabled kid, who was 20, when I, still sobbing, finally managed to say, "He kept touching me," and it was like a record player grinded to a halt. My mum stood and asked, "Touching you where?" I showed her, and she left to get on the phone to the host of the party. Her friends turn to me and say, "You should have punched him in the face. Keep your sick crotch goblins at home. I don't care if you're a single mum." This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm slightly annoyed and feel like bitching on Reddit. This will be short. On Tuesday, I walked into work and see my co-worker has her kid there. She says he got a flu shot the other day and his arms hurts, so I let him stay home. I almost walked right the fuck out of the building. I was like, "Hey, thanks for bringing in a little patient zero," half joking and half serious. She then gets pissed, calls me an asshole, and says he's not even sick. The kid is 11 to 12 and is capable of staying home alone by himself. He's done it before, and his gran lives right down the road if there was an emergency. If he doesn't feel well enough to go to school, don't bring him to my fucking office. Today she calls off because he has 102 fever and is puking. I washed my hands about 300 times on Tuesday, but you know that little bastard spread his flu all over the office. Entitled Aunt gets angry because her hotel gets destroyed after tsunami caused by a magnitude 9 earthquake. My wife's aunt had booked a vacation to Japan after the tsunami in 2011. If that doesn't already ring a bell, let me remind you that this was probably one of the worst natural disasters in the history of Japan. She calls the hotel after the tsunami and got super pissed about the hotel being destroyed and the tour operator not being able to offer a proper replacement. She also tried suing the hotel and operator, but to no avail. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What part of a tsunami destroyed the hotel and they couldn't have done anything, do you not understand? Or what part of human decency? Over 20,000 people have died, and all you fucking spoiled brat care about is that you won't be able to stay in your 5-star hotel. It has been almost 9 years. At our family reunion, she told us about this, and we all thought she was crazy, except her 2 sons, who defended her, and accused us of hating her because she was falsely accused of vandalism. She wasn't. A camera clearly showed her doing it to her workplace after she was fired. If you guys want that story, tell me in the comments. She apparently cried for an hour because we were so mean. Anyway, I don't know why she is still invited to family gatherings, but I guess it's because she is family. My mother-in-law freaked out when I ate steak. Before you can hear my story, there's a need for a little backstory. So my mother-in-law is vegan, and I didn't know that then. She's also the type of vegan that tries to push her beliefs on people. So let's get on to the story. Me and my girlfriend went to a fancy restaurant with her parents. I ordered steak. She looked at me with utter disgust and said, "You should change your order, murderer." Then she said, "How would you feel if I ate your baby?" She said it so loud everyone could hear her. Then got up and chanted, "Meat is murder and all meat eaters would die of congestive heart failure," as she stormed out. My girlfriend and I looked at each other with disbelief. ED bursts into detention, demands his son be let out immediately. T is teacher, ED is entitled dad, EDA is entitled daughter. So a few months ago, a friend and I had a fight. We made up and are still friends, and we were in after-school detention. There are at least 7 other kids, including entitled daughter. So around 40 to 45 minutes into the hour-long detention, entitled daughter knocks on the door. Yes? Hi, can Jeff come out now? We got to get home. Sorry, but he's still in detention. It'll be about 15 minutes before he's out. But we need to go home. I don't care, he's in detention. Fine. So about 10 minutes later, entitled dad bursts through the door. I need to get Jeff. We have to get home. I'm sorry, your son is still in detention. I don't care, we have to get home now. Did entitled daughter not tell you that? Yes, she said that 10 minutes ago. Well, why didn't you let Jeff out? He was in detention. Besides, daughter isn't a respected figure of authority in this school. Yes, she is. Now let my son out of detention now. Okay, it's over now anyway. Yes, entitled dad spent that long shouting at teacher that by the time his rant was over, his son was going to leave anyway. Family post. It's early and I need to vent. So I posted about my entitled sister before. She's entitled toxic from crying because I refused to take her kids on a 4-hour drive, telling me I need diet pills because I'm still fat, and even telling me to give her 7-year-old my Xbox. Her entitlement knows no end. I could go on all day, but I need to get ready for work. My mother's birthday is this weekend. We decided to go to dinner and have a photo shoot since my mum is always saying she wishes she had more family pictures of us. I offered to do the pictures for free, so we wouldn't be spending money on dinner and a photographer. My sister is making the photos all about her. So far I've come up with at least 6 different colour schemes. Entitled sister. I don't like those colours. I want colours like this. Let's do this. She's been spamming my text messages with pictures from Pinterest. I am done. She has to make everything about her and her kids. My last thing was Black History Month and she sent me a text. It will look like fucking Christmas pictures. I don't like it. Pick something else. Now. She's picking nothing but pastel colours. Nothing wrong with that, but I've been trying to pick things everyone has in the closet already. And I know for sure my dad owns no pastel colours. I am done. Once again, I'm doing this for free, using up my time to set up, pick up the location and everything. Everything has to be about her. I am sick of it. Entitled parent complains to my boss because I was using a changing table to change my baby. I just got back from a 6-month maternity leave and this occurred yesterday. I bring my 4-month-old son to work with me each day in the infant room. All of the parents know that I am a staff member and that he is my child. And for the most part everyone has been really friendly towards me since I came back. When my husband picks us up after my shift, I usually use the changing table in the classroom to change my son's diaper and get him into warmer clothes and a jacket for the way home, while my husband takes the opportunity to pack up our son's stuff. Well, yesterday I got called into my director's office because an entitled parent complained about me using the changing table to get my son ready to go home, and that they want me to leave it open for the other parents because it's not fair. Keep in mind that I was always there first, and only take 5 minutes max, and no one has ever said anything to me about it. Entitled Parent also said that I should use the changing table in another room to change and get my son ready. Luckily, my boss is on my side and says that I'm a mum too, and this is not an issue. Boss also thinks that Entitled Parent is picking on me because I'm a staff member and that they probably wouldn't have said anything had I been a regular parent.